Professor M.K. Sridhar, I would like to kindly invite you to address the gathering.
Dhanyavad. Before I start, can you just give me the profile of the people who are here so that I'll get an idea of, you know,
Yes,
a general profile, that
yes,
will help
yes,
me to,
yes.
because
So
I
the
should
profile,
not
as I said, yes, the profile, as I said, we have we have primarily people here who are involved with education, who are themselves educationists, head of institutions or teachers or professors, as well as people who keep an interest in public policy, and also karyakartas of our larger system, and as well as personalities such as Saji Narayanji. This is the composition of the gathering today.
सबको नमस्कार. And very nice that Dr. Anirban Shyam Prakash Karji Research Foundation has made all of us to come together and spend some time and looking at the kind of profile of people who have come here. That's why I asked Dr. Anirban about the profile of people, because all of you are so experienced, not necessarily in education, but in life, public life. I think it's my pleasure and privilege to spend some time, not to share much, but interact with all. So accordingly, what I will also do is, I think because you would have known a lot of things about this, and there is a lot of coverage in the media, and people have been talking around. So what I would like to do is very briefly, I will introduce the policy to you. I will not get into greater details, but maybe in the course of the interaction, when you raise your questions or clarifications or whatever it is, I think we can do that. Maybe up to 4:45 we can go. Is that fine? Okay. As all of you know, after independence, apart from the present one, there were only two policies as national policy. One is based on the recommendations of Kothari Commission, that was 1968, and then in 1986. See, Kothari Commission, or rather 1968 policy, is based on the report of Kothari Commission, whereas 1986, it was not based on anybody's report. There was a document called Challenge of Education, and that Challenge of Education was discussed, was released, and then based on the inputs to that, the policy was made in-house. Means in-house means the concerned ministry and bureaucrats. I'm not finding it, I'm just giving a background, that's all. I'm not trying to make any coloring of anything. But this 86 policy was again site modifications were done, and that was called 1992 Plan of Action, POA of 86. They made some little changes. After 86, then lot of things happened, but there was no policy. When the present NDA government under the leadership of Dr. Modi ji came, 2014, I think by the later part of 2014, and even the manifesto had clearly mentioned that they will come out with a national policy on education. So therefore, accordingly, the entire process started in 2015 when Srimati Smriti Irani was the Minister for HRD. So what they did is, this is a very interesting exercise which I would like to share with you. One is Kothari Commission report. They did consult and they met people, etc. But it was more an expert educationist point of view which resulted in policy. 1986 is a result of a document that government prepared and asked people to respond to that document. Based on that document, a response, they formulated a policy in-house. In this case, in the case of the present one, 2020 policy, the consultation and the kind of suggestions that were taken, it is so widespread and large. I can call this as the first bottom-up approach of any government in India with regard to education. The first real bottom-up. Why I am saying this? January 2015, it's when it started. You know, the ministry did a little interesting. I think. Hello. Okay. That is.
There's some echo. I would request everyone to please, Tirumai Kumarji, please switch off your, please mute yourself. Ji, yes, sir. You can please continue.
Okay. What they did is, they identified 20 themes in higher education and 13 themes in school education. For every theme, they gave a bit of introduction. And in the light of that introduction, that theme, they raised some questions. So what they did is, when they went in consultation, these questions were asked and asked people to respond. This is the first mechanism that they followed. And they did it from Gram Panchayat to a very highest level, expert group, so many things. So up to October, this process went on, MyGov and different platforms, all that they did. Then they appointed a committee, and that was headed by TSR Subramaniam, former cabinet secretary. And he did not present a draft policy, but he presented what is called as evolution of policy, report on the evolution of policy. That happened in May 2016. Later on, there was little lull because there was change in minister and all that. But the process was on because a lot of discussion happened. 2017 June, Kasturangan committee was appointed. And we finalized the report in 2018 December, but could be submitted only by last after the new government took over. After submission, it was put on public domain, and you will be happy to note we received something like 1,70,000 suggestions on the draft report. you want, I have the details, the kind of coloring that we did, all that we did all that exercise. And then it was vetted internally for a long time. Finally, this came. Why I wanted to share this piece was, when we say bottom up, it was kind of all stakeholders. Because I can keep on going, giving detail, but I don't want to. This is one piece that I would like to share with you, number one. Number two, after 86 policy, major developments happened in our country, especially in our context. One is the 91, that globalization, that kind of a, P.V. Narasimha Rao time, there was a crisis, all that, a lot of things happened. And then internet revolution happened in the meanwhile. And thirdly, Right to Education Act was brought in 2009. It is called RT, Right to Education Act. And then Constitution Amendment was also done. So all these things happened between 86 and 2020. So therefore, it is also commencement of 21st century, and also the kind of scenario in the world and the position of our country in the world has also undergone change. There is a new kind of leadership in our country. All these things necessitated completely different approach, and I can just say that somehow everybody was feeling, it is time to send off the lock, stock, and barrel, the baggage that we had, and we need to embrace a new system which will definitely consider our own. Let me come to some specifics of the policy. One is, it touches early childhood care to higher education, all the dimensions, vertical. And horizontally, if you take, starting from school education, vocational education, general education, medical, agriculture, all that, whatever you call as education has been covered. Technology, adult education, and then Indian culture, language, arts, everything under the broad framework of education has been covered. Whether something comes under Ministry of HRD or not, it was covered. And what we felt was, when we went into the process, few things what we felt is, somehow our education system, somehow I think we are working in a completely rigid, centralized, and the uniform mania, the mindset of uniformity. I think that was the characteristic. You were only having all kinds of restriction. You can't do this, you can't do that. And there was a tremendous control mechanism, on education. So therefore, all these things, and there is a legacy of Macaulay system, all that is fine. I don't want to get into that little issues like that. So what we felt is, the student is not the center of the entire system. See, the student was not the center, and the institutions which impart education was not empowered. And the teachers were not were completely ignored their role. So, considering all these things, what we did is it required a completely a different, approach and a new look. Like New India, it required a new education system. So I will only say a very basic 2, 3 points, then open out for discussion. One is the entire school education. We looked at a whole lot in an integrated manner. Anirban, you were telling, you were a student of Sri Aurobindo who talked about integral education, And in that fashion, what we did is education was starting only from the age of 6 in our country till now. Education means starting itself was 6. So what we did is, it will now onwards, it will start in the age of 3. So 3 to 18 years, 15 years is school education. And that 15 years has been completely the education philosophy, the curriculum, and the pedagogy is based on age appropriate cognitive, emotional, motor skill development. It's completely based on research and our own traditions. So what we do is, this 15 years of school education, we put them into 4 phases. The first 5 years, next 3 years, next 3 years, and last 4 years. So we call this as 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Till now in our country, 10 plus 2 plus 3, I think you're all familiar. And this came in 1968 policy year that continued for such a long time. 10 plus 2 plus 3. 10 years in that primary, upper primary, and secondary. But there was nothing like that kind of a very distinct philosophy like that. It was not there. It was not articulated, rather. So 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 is what is taken. The first stage, it's a combination of early childhood care and grade 1 and grade 2. The first 3 years, grade 3, 4, 5. The next 3 years, 6, 7 grade. And the last 4 years, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And here, your vocational education, your diploma, all that will be under the same roof of school education. There will not be any other streams, only under school education. And it is completely well thought. In the interaction, if you want, we can go into the details. And he thought in the secondary education, last 4 years, we must have a choice for students. That is, and you need to introduce them to more and more subjects. Otherwise, from 11th grade onward, people are getting into classifications. Instead of that, we thought that we need to have a broader perspective. And when students come into undergraduation, so until the completion of 12th grade, no specialization. It is broad exposure to them as much as possible. So then the child will reach 18 years of age. Then we thought that it is time to introduce semi-specialization. You're introducing the concept of specialization. So in undergraduation, which will be 3 or 4 years, there will be semi-specialization in the form of the usual art, science, commerce kind of a artificial division of knowledge has been given a go by. Knowledge is an integrated law, and I will try to work around. So students will opt for major or minor combinations, and students will pursue that undergraduation will be for 3 or 4 years. And after undergraduation, depending upon how many years that they do, 3 or 4, whatever it is, there will be masters and PhD. And this entire higher education is treated as lifelong learning concept. Lifelong and experiential learning concept. Let me come to some more details of this undergraduation, then stop. Undergraduation, unfortunately, is the highest number in our country. Not unfortunately, sorry. Fortunately, highest number, but unfortunately, quality is bad. Okay, that is what I meant. 80% of our student enrollment in our country, around 3 crores, 40 lakhs, something like that. 85% are in that general undergraduate program. Because undergraduate program is not up to the mark, people go to masters. Because the quality is not good, people go to PhD. Or one masters is not good, they go for another masters. They keep on taking the competitive examination, or they will search whatever it is. So what we are saying is undergraduation program of higher education has to be made very, very value driven. Then for many of the people, more than 50% of the enrollment, that undergraduation can become a terminal course. They can come out and pursue whatever they want. If they any time that they want to come back, they can always do that. So it was said multiple entry and multiple exit. This the other day, Honorable Prime Minister was referring to this multiple entry and multiple exit. That is very much connected to lifelong learning. We were actually, friends, in our country, we were looking at students as robots. Once they enter the course, you'll have to complete everything. And until you complete 3 years and do all that, you know, you will not get anything. That was the approach. So here it is flexible. After first year of completion, you will get a certificate. Second year, a diploma. Third year, a degree. And if you want to pursue fourth year, that will be with research. But at the same time, that research, if you pursue, then you can go. That is primarily for those who take up further education, further education. So this entire higher education is multidisciplinary. Large colleges and universities. Universities will be free from affiliation system, and school education, the teachers only have one thing, that is 4-year integrated B.Ed program. No diplomas and things like that. So this is broadly the per se of education policy. Maybe as and when you ask me few things, I will start explaining. I thought I only gave you something which is the soul of education. There are any number of regulatory aspects and issues like that we can discuss over.
Thank you so much,